I'm pleased to sponsor the Alternative Interview.
And so we come to that season coming in. We've got to beat Scarborough in the last game of the season to get into the playoffs. We do that. You score both goals, so which sets up Carlisle United. Do you recall that Scarborough game?
Yes, yeah, I do. I think I've been on a bit of a barren run before then as well. Not particularly scoring too many, but luckily Terry kept faith with me. And then, just kind of when we needed it and just really needed that confirmation to get into the playoffs. I remember delivering with obviously a header first half, I think it was, and then obviously a little right foot finish second half, which was quite a nice easy one, which was always the good goals to score when they're that easy, as long as you don't have too much time to think about it. But it just set us up nicely with a bit of momentum going into Carlisle. And again, Carlisle was always going to be a big ask. Massive club. Couldn't have been any further away in terms of having to go there for the away leg as well. It was always going to be a tough one. But again, we still believe, so a bit like with the Hereford one, we always believed that we could prevail. And again, got so close. So very frustrating, going into those playoffs. Obviously, we had the home game again, 6,500 fans there. Absolutely fantastic atmosphere. Got the draw again, and then having to go up there was always going to be a big ask. Did we get a draw or did we win at home?
We won 1-0. We had Nick
didn't we?
Yeah.
Because I remember obviously being 2-0 down away, and then James Labber creating the iconic moment.
Inside this ground, can the shots hold on for what will be a truly memorable win? And so Carlisle get a second corner. It's been all Carlisle pressure in this opening 13 minutes. McGill and Murray making a nuisance of themselves. Murphy has stayed out on that right hand side to take this second Carlisle United corner in quick succession. Shots, defence really under the cosh at the moment. Murphy, left footed, curls the ball inside, looks for Livesey, and Livesey's there, he's got the header! Disaster for the Aldershot Town defence. Carlisle have the lead, and they're level on aggregate. So, Aldershot Town goal kick. Nicky Ball, left-hand side of his area to clear this one away. Better support one. McGill picks it up on the left-hand side and ghosts past Barnard on the right. McGill continues his run. Billy's in the centre. Chris Billy! No mistake with the finish. Chris Billy has turned the tie around in Carlisle United's favour. It's Carlisle 2, Aldershot 0, and Carlisle lead 2-1 on aggregate. Time running out at the end of the second half. 4 minutes of stoppage time played already. Is this Aldershot's last attempt? Holloway pushing forward. Crittenden with a shot. It deflects behind for the corner off McGill. Is there enough time for Aldershot to take this corner? There is. Corner will be taken. Dave Lee moves out to the right hand side to take it. All the Aldershot players in and around the edge of the area. Nicky Bull is forward as well now. Lee with the corner. Last chance, Saloon. Ball rises, couldn't quite get there. Crittenden holds on to possession for Aldershot Town. Now Lee. Lee with the ball inside. Slummer! The substitute has done it right at the death. Jamie Slevor has levelled the tie on aggregate, and Aldershot Town have given themselves a last chance to try and secure a place in the playoff final. Celebrations in the Aldershot Town supporters. The rain teeming down, but they don't care. The shots have a crack at extra time.
But that was probably even more frustrating for me than the playoff final the year before, because having gone full time, I'd struggled a bit with my health in terms of quite soon after going full time, I'd got some tonsillitis, and I'd never had tonsillitis before, and ended up getting it 3 times in the next 6 months. And the third time I got it was literally just before the second leg away at Carlisle, and it was horrendous. I always got it really badly. So there was doubt about me even travelling, and Terry actually agreed that the boys would all go up a couple of days before, and I could just literally turn up on the day. So he paid for me to get a separate flight up to Newcastle on the day of the game to give me as much time to recover as possible. And I was obviously desperate to play, so I was happy to do that. Flew up there, went straight to the hotel, then went to the game, and then I played, but it wasn't me. It was 60 minutes of just struggling through, just feeling horrendous, and that was so frustrating, because I could, again, fully fit, I believed I could have pulled us through and helped us get to the final, and even then, after Jamie's goal, we should have won the penalty shootout. I think we had 2 or 3 attempts to win it, having Nicky Ball saved a couple, and the scenes afterwards were obviously a little bit shocking and all that, but I was just so disappointed that illness had struck me at just the wrong time, and just couldn't showcase myself as I should have done.
That was a horrible night, wasn't it, at Carlisle, when that penalty shootout, as you say, it was where all the play. I know you'd been subbed by then, I think Jamie Slabber came on for you, and so at least you didn't have the concern about having to take a penalty in that. But even watching from the side, that must have been pretty concerning, seeing all your teammates out there, all the fans are on the pitch and no one knows where anybody is, and of course they still had to go and take another penalty to win the game.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, it was horrendous, and like I said, I think we had 2 chances to win it, and we were all convinced on the bench that was it. We were through, and I almost hate to think what would have happened if we'd actually won it, because the fans were horrible when they won. So I don't know what they'd have been like if they'd lost. But yeah, I think Nicky Bull was the one that got the brunt of it, wasn't he? I think he got a few whacks and things, and he could handle himself as well, to be fair, Bully. So I'm sure he gave a couple of haymakers back as much as he could. But yeah, just a real shame, just one of those clubs that we really wanted to beat as well. And I never particularly enjoyed going there. It would have been nice to turn them over. But yeah, it was all about us trying to just get out there safely in the end, which is incredible to think of, really, especially as we should have been celebrating going towards another playoff final.
I'm going to go off track here a little bit, Tim, because you just remembered something in my mind when you said about going to Newcastle Airport. Wasn't there a game when we played at Blythe when you didn't have the right documentation or something, and you had to make another way up to the game? I can vaguely remember that story, and you'll obviously tell us a bit more about it now. Yeah.
I mean, it came up as a memory a bit recently on Twitter, and I kind of put a bit about it. But yes, it was Blythe away in the trophy, and I think the game had been called off on the Saturday, so we had to go there on a Tuesday, which was a tough ask for a part-time team again. And we all turned up at Stansted Airport. We'd been told to either bring our driving licence or our passport or something like that. So I took my driving licence, but obviously being at the time, it was a paper driving licence. So I didn't have a photo on it. So they wouldn't accept it. They wouldn't accept my paper driving licence if it didn't have my photo on it. So I produced like my student union card. I think I had a Blockbuster video card, all these sorts of things, trying to go, well, look, there's my photo, there's my driving licence, just let me on the plane. But they were having none of it. So Terry basically had a car that the club had provided for him. So I had to go back to the car park that we'd been at. I think we parked at Bishop Stortford Football Club. and I drove Terry's car up. So I had to drive the 4.5-5 hours up to Newcastle, which was an experience in itself. And then about 2-3 weeks later, after that, actually Terry pulled me into his office and told me that he'd been given a speeding ticket, which happened to be me on the way up on the A1, which was also disappointing. So I drove up, played the game, scored, we won, which was at least something. And then we stayed in a hotel that night as well. But I had to be back at work. I'd kind of said to her, look, I've got to go out to Blythe. Is there any chance you can give me the day off tomorrow? And they were like, no, you've got to come in. And that was when I worked for the Swords Group, actually. So I had to get back to Chessington. And so I woke up, I think I set my alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning, got up, a couple of lads came with me, Richard Barnard and I can't remember, a couple of others as well, and drove back at 5:30 in the morning, got back into the office, I think at 10:30, having dropped Terry's car off and driven it a bit slower on the way back. Not that I knew I'd been caught at that point by a speed camera. And then, that was it, straight back in at 10:30, having played the night before, back into work and working till 5. So that was definitely the life of a part-time footballer in a national division. But yeah, again, those are great memories to look back on, and luckily the points have now expired, so it's all good. So the next day, Oxford actually put in a bid for me, which Leyton Orient hadn't quite done. I should have been lazier at Hereford, I think. I should have just kind of concentrated on myself a bit more rather than really trying to help the team, which was never my ethos, unfortunately. So hence why I probably didn't quite make it at Hereford either.